Mastering Visual Studio Code. So this is a big topic, yet I'm going to try to help you to master it. And please just make a comment to see if I did a good job so I can continue doing these videos for you. And if I just need to improve it, then I can just help it out differently. Let me know also. Your feedbacks are very important to me. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you watched the entire video. You will learn a lot of features and functionality of Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is open source IDE, integrated development environment. It is written by Microsoft Corporation. So Microsoft own it, but it is open source. And it is a very good software, lightweight IDE. Is similar to Visual Studio Code, which is the heavyweight, and then the lightweight. Yet it is very, very good for production environment. And I'm going to show you a lot of features. As you can see on this screen, and that Visual Studio Code, I'm having a program on Python, and you can do it on all kind of software. Whether it's Python programming language, Visual Studio Code runs code as well as Node.js, as well as JavaScript, as well as C, C++, C Sharp. You can name it, everything. You will be able to run it. React and then Angular, all of them, HTML, CSS, everything you can name, you can program. And this IDE, integrated development environment, is open source, and it is liked by a lot of developers. Millions of developers are using it every day, and I'm sure you're one of them. I'm one of them, and then it is provided on multiple platforms. It is provided on Mac, Windows, and Linux. So it is available throughout the system. And before going further on this one, I'm going to just go with the presentation, which is Mastering Visual Studio Code. And I'm going to talk about the essential tips and advanced techniques that you could learn in Visual Studio Code. By doing that one, you basically are boosting your code efficiency with expert guidance. And then this expert guidance is coming from documentation of Microsoft, from Visual Studio Code, from programming languages that I'm going to introduce you. There's a lot of functionality and features, and it's a Visual Studio Code is a greatest IDE that I name it one of my favorite ones. So you're welcome to just go on with this one. And then for the agenda for Visual Studio Code, we're going to be talking about the introduction to Visual Studio Code, where I'm going to also be talking about customization and extension. Some of the extension, whether you're doing installation for extension of Python, C, C++, C Sharp, Angular, Node.js, React, TypeScript, any of them, you just install the extension, and now you have all the extension is basically extending the libraries, the list of libraries that you could just extend it. And then there's a lot of other extension for code prettifier and other stuff, formatting codes, and maybe snippet and other stuff for help. And then I'll show you all of that also, and then how you can integrate it with Git Repository. The Git Repository is also integrated with Visual Studio Code. So code efficiency tips will be discussed. Debugging and testing. A lot of the software, when you are writing for the development environment, integration or production, you have to test it. And by testing, you're doing a lot of debugging to just make sure that it passes all the debugging, and then all the exception, and then handles the regression testing. All of that one is done at the time of testing and debugging. Version control integration is also a Git repository. And basically the Git, Git is the command line version of GitHub, which is GitHub is for the web interface. And I'm going to show you the Git repository. And Git repository also is Git is the binary program that you install. And then once you install the Git, then obviously the package on the extension, now Git is available, then you can do all kind of source control. And in the past, we used to use CVS and DKCVS and CC Harvest and other tools for software kind of check-in, check-out, committing and creating maybe branches, creating pulling data and pushing the branches, all of that one is all integrated with Git repository. So advanced feature of workflows, we're going to talk about that. And then also, that was the overview, as you noticed, that the agenda and what we are going to be discussing. The overview of features are basically lightweight and powerful. So Visual Studio Code is lightweight, meaning that it is not too detailed like Visual Studio Professional Edition that Microsoft charges. And there's a free version of Visual Studio Code, but that's a limited time. Then you have to pay for it, and eventually it is paid. But this one, the Visual Studio Code lightweight, it is for production, and it's you see that it says making it fast and responsive while still being powerful enough of serious development. All the production, whether you do it on the cloud or like Linux environment, Unix environment, HPC, supercomputing environment, everything, you can just run Visual Studio Code and as IDE, and as well as a client that you could just connect to Git repository and then do all your work. The nice thing about IDEs, usually whether you're using like a PyCharm or for Python or Visual Studio Code, supports everything that PyCharm does for Python. And on top of it, it does everything for C++, C Sharp, and then .NET, and then Angular, React, TypeScript, JavaScript, all of them, HTML, CSS, Bash scripting, everything that you could do, Vim, VI editorial, everything, it is part of the software, it's integrated. The intelligence feature, it allows you to provide intelligent code completion. So if you are looking for a function, as soon as you write open underscore, then the next list of commands or functions, a name that start with that, it comes in. Or sometimes like you're writing a code and you just want to press tab after certain words, then a list of other codes are going to be helping you, saying that this is how you could do development faster and efficiently. So integrated debugging, that of course the debugging tools, there's a lot of things with the debugging. So you could put breakpoints and all those concepts that you do. And every debugger, whether you use ADB, MDB, or GNU debugger or GDB, or maybe you could use advanced debugger ADB, or maybe sometimes on Python PDB, Python debugger or something. Whatever you use, this Visual Studio Code has those tools that you could just put it by breakpoints and just walk through it and then debug it, your code, and then see at some point and then check it out. So built-in Git support. Git is the, as I told you, is the repository, but this is a distributed repository, meaning that the client and the remote are not connected directly, but at any point they have no relationship at one point. But as soon as you just do a git config and you configure your repository to just have a branch or some trunk or some master branch, at one point you could just connect to it, and then whether it's a SSL based certificate that you're connecting to a GitHub repository that you're posting in to collaborate with others, Git is very efficient tools and very fast, very because it is distributed. You don't have to, you can even work local, and then at some point, every branch you can pull and push your directories and sources at any time. Usually there's files you can do with Git. Let me just go back here. With the Git debugging, I think I was on the Git right here. Built-in Git support. So let me just go to this one. And this one is basically right here on Visual Studio Code, this icon or this kind of image that it shows here below the search, that is for the Git repository. So the Git, you can do it. And then also on the console, on the debug console, which is a PowerShell command prompt, you can also use the git status, git command, git commit, and all of those git related commands. You can do git pull, git push, all of that one, git switch, whatever commands you do it at the command line, you can do it here at the GUI or just at the PowerShell prompt. So Git is very nice tool. And then on this one, you can see the sidebar. I'm showing you that on the sidebar, you have a file manager. You can go to control the open directory and then open files, create new files and manipulate them. There's a menu here that file all this information, file, edit all those regular menu. I'm going to be showing you those ones. The current file on the editorial that is open. This is just a title that I gave for this video. And then the search and then the repository. This is the debug and run icon. This is the extension. This is for remote and so on. All of them are the database and everything. And this setting is very important because if you want to change some of your customization, like for example, maybe you want to change your theme or something, you want to go here and just change a different color style, which I could show you also there. So this is one interface that I want to show you, and that we are right now using a Python program.py file. And this is all commented out line 1 through 6 on Python with your instruction by just saying code it. And then notice the prettifier extension that I have installed. It makes the code very nice and pretty, and the formatting is really good. So you just are getting automatically the indentation. All of that one is provided by the IDE of Visual Studio Code. On top of it, all these other interfaces like output, you want to see the output of it. Ports, if you're opening any ports, all of that one. The spell checker on your code, if you're writing some names or something, you can do a spell checker on it or something. And then on the PowerShell prompt, you can also run a Windows command as well as PowerShell command. So since it's a PowerShell command, I did a cat, which stands for concatenation, open urls.py, which is this file. And then I said measure object. Measure is the alias, measure object is the commandlet. And then -L give me a line number here, 18 lines on this code. So it does not count the spaces here. Measure is just skipping this. So there's 2 spaces here. That's why 20 minus 2 is 18. And then the number of words that are there on the file, -w, -character, the number of characters. So there's 58 words altogether. Words are separated by space, and then that's how measure counts it. And then the character, each character that are there. -L line numbers is each one, like 1 is line 1, line 2, up to line 20, but I said it skips the spaces. That's why it shows 18 instead of 20. But if you just do a measure -object and no argument, you will see the 20. That is how that is going to be determined. So this is the interface. I'm going to show you more and by going to the next page, installation and setup. Installation is very easy. It is cross-platforms, so it is provided for Windows, Mac OS X, and Linux. Mac OS X is Unix-based Darwin, BSD, but Sun Microsystem and Sun OS and Solaris and BSD are both Berkeley software distribution, as well as FreeBSD and Mac OS X are all based on Sun OS or BSD based. And then Windows is Microsoft Windows, and Linux is, you have a lot of flavor of Linux, different distribution like Fedora, and then Red Hat is one of the Fedora distribution, but there's Ubuntu, which is Linux Mint and Ubuntu itself, or distribution of Ubuntu. And then there's a lot of other ones that are OpenSUSE we call it. And then there's Red Hat, Rocky and Red Hat or Fedora distribution. Fedora itself is Fedora, as you know. And then a lot of these software, and they are cross-platform, meaning Visual Studio Code. You can just go to visualstudio.com or code.visualstudio.com, and I'll show you the link there. And then you just go and use Windows, Mac OS X, or whichever one you have, you install it. And installation is pretty straightforward. You just go to the website, you just download the latest and stable version, and you just install it. And that's how simple it is. If it is on a Mac, it's a package. You just do it. And if it's on Linux Ubuntu, for example, you just do a apt install and the name of the RPM or the name of the package. If it is on Linux Debian, I have already shown you, you just basically use the Debian package manager, dpkg, and then -i for install, and then the name of the file. If it is Red Hat, you do dnf install and the name of the package, or rpm -ivh install and the name of the RPM file. So it's pretty straightforward. It's all documented. You can just follow that there. Customization option, once you install it, you can customize it however you like. Every developer has different kind of options. For example, on my system, in addition to all these menus that are there for file edit, if you highlight these things, for example, all of them, if you want to make a comment, you could do under the edit with the backslash, and then it puts a tab in front of them. But I don't use those ones. Usually I use Vim, VI improved. So under the extension, I did a Vim, and then now whether I do it on Mac or Linux or Windows, I always open a terminal, and then I code the stuff, and then I comment and make changes on these things. I don't use like a graphical interface. But some of the developers prefer to do the graphic. You're welcome to learn the shortcuts and the easy way to do it. I don't memorize those shortcuts. I memorized enough shortcuts inside Vim and Linux commands and arguments that I could do things from the old ages, which is all command line. And so, and then you have that one. And then user interface and navigation. You can see the user interface is very, very pretty and nice and very pleasant to work with. You have all the options. For example, under the sidebar, you have all the things that you could make sure the libraries are available for you to install, debugging, and then Git repositories and file management to open directories, everything there, including the menu. And then on the right side, if you click on one of them, like for example, file open, this one is a kind of toggle. Every time you click on it, this menu comes in for the directory that you have open. It shows all the files and source code and everything, and you can just do it. And if you click on the file to open another file, you can create new file and another tab comes in. If you just remove them, obviously, you can do that one also. And also the command line here for file management, for running command, directory structure, all of those ones from the PowerShell command, you can run it too. And this easy way to get it under file, under terminal, you click on the open a terminal, and then, or you could just do control backtick, and then that would open the terminal for you if it is not open. And I'll show you those ones also. So, and then all these options are there, plus the files, and then the area where you write your code is this tab is open. As you open a new tab, a new program, and the adds there. And if you click on the extension, it comes here, and then it shows you. Then you can enable extension, disable extension. You have a lot of functionality and feature under each one of these ones. So that is pretty good. Sidebar for navigator, I just talked about it. And then keyboard shortcuts, obviously, for everything that is under the menu, it shows you keyboard shortcuts as well as There's shortcuts on the menu here that I could show you, and you can get the list of shortcuts there to memorize some of them or some of them. As you develop, every developer memorize some of them and become their favorite one. Some of them, they just go under the file and then choose the one that they want to do at that time. It's your choice. So that is keyboard shortcuts. The next thing is customization and extension, how you customize your IDE and how you add, install extension or disable extension and remove extension. The reason you do an extension because on a given programming language like Python or C or C# or C++ or Java or Go language, every one of them you could work on. Whether you want to write program in Go language, it is there. Java, JavaScript, Node.js, React, Angular, TypeScript, CSS, HTML, Bash scripting, everything you can customize it. You can also have theme and appearance customization, and I just showed you some of these ones. I'm going to show you more on different options. Under the setting, you have a theme that you can modify them and by colors, and you can put background of black or dark or white. It's your choice. Customization of features. You're provided with customization option, allowing users to tailor the appearance to their preferences. Basically, you customize it whatever you prefer. Otherwise, why would you customize something, right? So improving visibility. Choose the right theme can improve visibility and reduce eye strain during long coding session, enhancing productivity. I remember when I was at the City College of New York as a student back in 1987. That was long time ago. I was working on IBM mainframe, and the whole screen was black and it was green text on it. But writing assembly language code or maybe Pascal programming language, at the time I was taking courses, some of us, we were writing programs at the time, and we had a few hours to sit in the lab, but there were times that we could stay all day or half a day in the lab staring at the green text kind of flickering in front of our eyes, and it was very hard for the eyes. But these nowadays, look how nice it is. You can watch it for a lot of long hours, and it's very pleasant. On top of it, there are some utilities that I just use to prettify. For example, prettier code formatting is one of the extension that you can install. Under the extension, you click on here, you look for prettier formatting, and then this comes prettier code formatter. And as soon as you install it, then you could write your source code in any language, and then you could make it more looking prettier, as well as the formatting of the text, indentation, everything is handled by the IDE for you. And then this one, I'm just inside the command line. You could run this command like I did laugh out loud cat open URL. This is a utility that I installed in PowerShell, which is a utility that you could install it from within PowerShell on Windows or Linux. This utility, you can run any file to open any file in different colors. Every time you run, you get a set of different colors. So it is not just a white text that it's going to just blur, while white text is most of the time is better. Like this, look how nice it looks. But then sometimes you just want to look at something differently for a moment to just refresh your eyes differently. So code formatting, extension like prettier, automated code formatting, ensuring consistency across the code base and improving readability. So for example, if you're coding in Python, the indentation is very important. So that is code formatting automatically. As soon as you press enter, it goes to the next line in the right kind of indentation. Or if you're writing it, for example, in other languages, then you just are getting different format based on the language, like HTML and CSS. Sometimes you just want them to be indented differently, so that is also there. A lot of programming languages that I worked originally, C, C++, or assembly language, or Python. Python was not that one. C, C++, and other ones, mostly you code and then you press enter, you press tab whenever you need to indent it. But this code formatting is really cool part of IDE. So whatever language you do, sometimes it does it for you on the fly. Length thing for code quality. ESLength is the one that you could install on the extension, and then fix problem in JavaScript code, enforcing best practices, improving overall code quality. And that's ES for ES6 kind of things for TypeScript. And so that is a new stuff, and then you could do ESLength. Improve workflow using essential extension, streamline the development process, allowing developers to focus more on writing code and less on fixing issues. So that is the nice things. The workflow is really, really easy. For example, if you're working on Git, there's a lot of stuff with the IntelliSense in code reusability, or even writing a JavaScript or HTML. As soon as write something with, let's say, a doc type on HTML, with the bang doc type, automatically the rest of the HTML code gets loaded for you, depending on these tools that you install. Like here, I did a prettier code formatter under the extension, and then prettier code formatter is going to give you these options to just make your code format properly. And then if you don't like something, you can always disable it or uninstall it. Once you install it, you have under the extension, you originally it comes out as installed. You click on it and it will just be done in a few seconds, and then installation of this module will be installed, or library will be installed, and now you have a set of them. And you can see that just the word prettier ESLength is also there. Prettier for SQL, Visual Studio Code, for JavaScript, for Java, a lot of stuff, right? So every one of them that you search for, there's something there. The command line also has PowerShell command line, and that I'm going to show you Node.js stuff and a lot of other stuff that you could do within this, and it's really cool. Managing and updating extensions. So extensions are very important. For example, in the tic-tac-toe kind of things, picture is showing here. Installing extension is as simple as just click on the extension and search for the extension Python for Python, C++ and GCC for C++, and JavaScript for JavaScript, and so on. Whatever you search, you can update them, and you can also disable them like I showed you earlier. And then right here, I'm showing you the Python extension pack that I installed. So I click on the extension here, then I type in Python. So all the stuff that are extension that are available, whether it's Python snippet or a REPL for Python, or Python quick print, or Python image preview. Here I just click on say Python extension, and then I installed it, and now I have availability for my code to just write it in Python. And there's a lot of documentation as well, as you can get it, and you can always disable it or install it and look at the features, the change log and everything on it. So that is the nice thing about extension. You can install the extension. If I had written here like Go or Java or Git or Bash or SSH, whichever one, it would just come in on that one, and then I install it. And notice the open URL .py is my source code, and then here's the extension. So if I click on another extension and open this one and don't close this one, another tab will open for that one. As simple as that. And let me just go to the next. So this is also managing and updating extension. How you manage and update the extension. Code, let me just say code efficiency tips. And this is a big topic. And so whenever you have keyboard shortcuts, you're writing code much faster, and keyboard binding. So you have to sometimes find out the easy shortcuts for your codes and some key binding, and in order to do significantly productivity enhancement. And then customized key binding. Yes, you can customize. Some people on a Linux machine, they write aliases. On PowerShell also, alias commands are supported. Get dash alias is the command, and set dash alias is to set new one, and then set new alias, or all of those ones you created and export them and everything. On Linux and Mac, you use the alias command to create them, and you put it on your .bash RC or .bash.corn shell RC, or whichever shell you're using, you put it on .zshrc. .zshrc meaning that .zsh is your shell, and default shell, and RC is run control. The dot is a hidden file, and then you just customize it as aliases, all the aliases. Now, as soon as you log into your shell prompt, which is zsh, then you just your alias are exported, and then automatically those key binding are available for you. And so code snippet and templates basically improve code speed. Because it has a snippet of code, it is going to just look at it, and sometimes you are just looking at certain code, and you could just do much faster writing and development. Software development is much faster. Built-in snippet. Visual Studio Code provides a set of built-in snippet that helps streamline coding the task and improve productivity. And sometimes this snippet could be, for example, like I was telling you on HTML, if you install certain things for HTML, some of the, like a bang, you type in bang and the doc type, automatically it puts all the code for you, saying that this is HTML5 doc type. And when you type in HTML:5, it automatically puts HTML5 and so on. If you could type in like body and press enter, it automatically it puts the body tag and the /body tag. If you put a head tag, and automatically as soon as you type in head, it puts the beginning and the ending of the head tag. Custom snippet, you can also customize it. So this one is multi-cursor, multi-selection techniques. This one is also a technique that you can use under files, and you can just use the file to just modify multiple selections and update it. Or sometimes, like I do, is use Vim command line, because I did the extension for Vim, VI improve. Now I'm doing it. You might do it Emac or some other editor, whatever you prefer. You just customize it, and then bulk updates can be done easily. Debugging and testing obviously is very important. So when you have debugging, this icon that is here is run and debug. So this example that I'm showing you here is a very powerful debugging IDE that allows you to just click on it and say run and debug, and this source code will run. And then if anything that you want to test it on certain breakpoints, you can test it as well. And then you see that here I say powerful debugging features. Visual Studio Code include integrated debugging tools that enhance the coding experience and improve productivity. Every time you do the debugging, it is enhancing your code. You're finding fine-tuning your code, and then that obviously improves your experience as well as productivity on the system. Setting breakpoints. Setting breakpoints allows you to pause code execution at a specific line for in-depth analysis. So if I just interest on this line number, then I could put a breakpoint and just do it. And then also watching variables. Some variable that you declare and say, okay, if I create a variable or a module or something, I want to watch for them, then I could just do that one. The ability to watch variable provide insight into the values during the code execution, because within the scope of the function, or within the scope of whether it's local or global variable, those ones that watching a variable to see how they go at runtime, how the semantic and syntax is, whether it's correct or not, at runtime the variable could react differently, right? So that's why you want to watch it at the debugging level. And stepping through code, you can steps from this line to that line, or from the top, and then say walk through whichever one. And there's walkthrough command, stepping. All of these ones are debugging kind of options that you run it. And notice that here the extension is the run and debug on top of the extension. Run and debug is this icon, and then it gives you, this is the source code that says you want to run and debug it. You just click on this one. It will open all these URLs here. So when I click on it, or you could type it also on the prompt, say Python open urls.py. This is the name of the file, and then I just say Python. If you have the shebang and Python on Linux, and then also on Windows, you can just say the executable Python path on the first line, and then you don't need the Python in front of it. Just knows that this is going to be Python code. But if you don't have it on line 1 as the shebang on Linux, or user ben env Python, or the Python executable on Windows path, then you could just do Python this. In order to get the Python executable path on Windows, on my other videos I have shown you with sys modules, how to load it and how to get the executable path there. I could show you if you need that one also. And then here I open it. So notice that the first program that the first URL is youtube.com/MyWebUniversity. This is my channel handle that I just have it. You can see here www.youtube.com/@MyWebUniversity. The first in the array list, it was that one. And then I'm using the start dash process, which is the commandlet for PowerShell that takes an argument as the URL, and this fs string is taking the URL, and then the URL comes from this list. In this case is a list, and then has these string of URLs as values. So it parses it and this within this for statement for URL and URL list. URL list is a list. It's going to just find out. The first one is going to open this one. The second one is mywebuniversity.com, my website, and the second one is google.com. The third one is code.visualstudio.com. I wanted you to be able to get into the code. There's a lot of stuff on Visual Studio Code there. At the same time, learn.microsoft.english PowerShell is this one. And that one is going to open the PowerShell command. And then the next one is YouTube at MyWebUniversity in Farsi, which is this one. That one was PowerShell for learn stuff. This one was Visual Studio Code, was right here, code.visual. And then the last one, a tinyURL. And notice that I also create names like under the tinyURL because I wanted to open a specific page. And then you, in order to create a specific page, you can go to tinyURL, and if the URL has cookies and long names, you could shorten it. In this case, I did not shorten it too much because I wanted to, on that video, I was covering Python, R language, MariaDB, all in Farsi. So I had to just give it that information. If I was shortening it to PRM for Python, R, MariaDB, and then in Farsi, that would be shorter. But still, people would not understand what is that. Whenever you're creating URLs, you don't have to just make it so specific to the name. But it is good, and sometimes people memorize those things like, okay, well, for Google, we go google.com, for code.visualstudio.com, that's what code is, right? So a lot of those stuff are meaningful, like learn.microsoft.com and then en-us English United States, and then PowerShell is the PowerShell command tools, right? So this is a building and debugging tools. So you have this option, and I showed you the browser also on that screen. Then you're getting the Git repository in the next one. This one is version control integration. So Visual Studio Code has the version control integration, which is the Git repository. And then setting up through Git repository is very simple. It is all integrated. You can clone the repository. You can easily clone existing repository in Visual Studio Code, allowing you to work on the project quickly and efficiently, right? And then you can also do create branches. Visual Studio Code enables you to create branches and seamlessly providing flexibility in managing your code changes. You should be able to create a branch, remove branches, add the branches, switch to different branches. All of that one is within the code command line, and you could do it within Visual Studio Code menu that has the source code that I showed you, or you could use the Windows PowerShell command line and the terminal. Then you can do that on inside Visual Studio Code. It's integrated. Managing commit, you can commit your changes into the repository from staging and you to remote, and then vice versa. Then you can just bring it to local. All of that one can be done there. So source control features in Visual Studio Code is very, very nice. Viewing changes, you can change, look at Git status, Git log, all of that one, or very easy and efficient commands that you could do it. Staging files, how you originally when do a Git init, you're creating a repository, and then initialization. At that time, you are just going to do a git config and then set up your username and email address and all of that information. Then now you have information that you can just check in files or check out through the staging, and then committing through changes as you do, and all of that one I could show you as well there. I just don't want to cover a lot of these topics in one video because some of these videos, each one of them could be an hour by itself or longer or days. So if I just cover something and then I just barely touch the surface, I want to make sure that you understand what comes with Git and Visual Studio Code, and what are the tools that are supported, like built-in Visual Studio visualization tools. All of that one thing is there, as well as the command lines. So eventually, what I'm planning to do is make these short videos, not too many hours, but once I get this thing done, but then I could just cover inside Visual Studio Code, maybe how to use NumPy and modules on Python, how to use Node.js, how to use React, how to use TypeScript, or how to use something like PowerShell of it, how to use Bash or shell scripting. So all of that one is going to come next. Please subscribe and watch these videos and make some comments so I can make sure that I can make videos that is going to help you. And here, collaboration with pull requests. So when you're pulling from the Git repository, it is seamless, right? It's going to be just on your repository. At some point, you pull the data and then manage it as you go. Code review tools. There's a lot of stuff with Git that has these features. And advanced features of Git features and workflows. So one of the nice thing about Visual Studio Code, you don't have to do it local machines on Windows. You can collaborate with other peoples on the cloud also. So remote development with Visual Studio Code is very, very easy. You could do cloud-based integration, whether it's Microsoft Azure or some other cloud that is on Linux platform or HPC or high performance computing. We do a lot of these things. So whether you use Visual Studio Code Mac or Windows or Linux, you should be able to do your Git repositories and update all those data storage and software, whether you do it C, C++, C Sharp, or Go, or anything, Java, you should be able to do those ones. That's what this software development life cycle is about, right? Or continuous integration and continuous deployment. So collaboration features, Visual Studio Code remote development feature enhance collaboration by allowing teams to work on the same code base remotely. So sometimes you may be working on a Linux machine, or maybe using a Microsoft and then working on a team. The software that you're doing it is a Microsoft product. You could just collaborate with them, and then sometimes you could go to some websites that like collab.google.com or something similar for other ones. For a lot of the companies, whether it's NVIDIA or Amazon or Google or something, Amazon Web Services, there's a lot of collaboration between the developers. So on the cloud, you are very, very efficient with having one integrated development environment, that a lot of things are very kind of efficient in terms of intelligence, in terms of code readability, debugging, and everything. Here I'm just showing you, like for example, on remote SSH here, I just did the remote SSH tunnels through SSH. So once you install this remote SSH on the PowerShell, which you can just run SSH command. Like here, I did a SSH to MyWebUniversity.com, and then you basically do SSH at the terminal, which is PowerShell. You say SSH username at the URL or website that you want to authenticate, which is either two-factor authentication or LDAP, or secure password by coming there. Then you through a secure shell, you can connect to it and you authenticate, and now you have a terminal session to a Linux server. Like here, I'm logged on as Wahid at MyWebUniversity, and I said uname -a, quiet laugh out loud cat, which is I want to see it in colors. So it says I'm on the Linux. The node name is my web tutorial, and the kernel build is 6.8, and then Ubuntu, symmetric multiprocessing. All of these details are there, whether it's 86, 64-bit, machine type, platforms, and then the OS name, and all of that thing is there. Get end the password ID-UN. This ID-UN, wherever is logged on, is gonna just show that one. In this case, is Wahid. I could have just typed in the hard code Wahid, but I did it through this subshell ID-UN, and it is going to show this entry. But I want it in the color, so it shows nice green. This is my user ID, user group ID, my real name. The /home is the shell, and then Ben Bash is the shell, word again shell. And then this is the user ID. So it shows the prompt, and I run the date command. It shows March 30th, which is at the time was 3:06 when I generate this thing. And then you can see cat minus cal for calendar command. This is this current month, and today is March 30th. So it is Sunday, and you can see that it is posted. And right here is also Sunday. And so this is cool, because you could write, all of a sudden you could just go into repository of Linux. You could just go on a Linux server. Maybe I could program in C or C++ or Bash or Python or anything that I have set up on that system. I can compile it, and I could run also code on Ubuntu. Ubuntu, like I showed you, that you can install it, then you can run a visual version of code like this. Then you start coding there, and then check in with Git and check out as well. So that is nice about it. I'm going to go to next, and then using containers and Windows system Linux. I made a lot of Linux subsystem last time because a lot of the students, they just cannot afford to buy a Linux server, right? Or have a Linux server. But if you have a Windows laptop or desktop, Google Chrome or something, you can always install the VirtualBox as like an open source VirtualBox. Now is provided by Oracle, and then install this subsystem. And then with VirtualBox, you can install a VirtualBox Linux, or you could, on a Windows itself, you could use the Windows subsystem. You don't need a VirtualBox. This is similar to like a VirtualBox, Windows subsystem Linux. This is part of the PowerShell that you could say PowerShell install Windows subsystem, and then as you configure it, you connect to it, and then you do with this one, for example, sudo apt install -y Kali Linux large. This will just give you all the packages with graphical interface, Linux, all the development, everything is really, really good tools. Watch my video. This one, I made 5 videos for this one. So this one was part 1 of 5. And then watch for that one. I explain a lot of them with Windows subsystem. Windows subsystem is also a very good part of Windows. And now it is supporting Linux Ubuntu, Linux Red Hat, Oracle, Linux Oracle, OVM, and a lot of stuff. Linux Fedora, Linux this and Linux that, right? And then that's also on the part of Microsoft Store. You can install it there, or you could do it from command line there that I showed you. Enhanced development workflows, integrated Docker containers with Windows subsystem and Visual Studio Code. Docker is very good. Docker is also containerization. I did a lot of Dockers on the Linux platforms in the past, and people are using Docker for a lot of development, so you are welcome to just use it. And Docker is integrated with Windows subsystem as well as Visual Studio Code, as well as all these other programming. Isolated environment. Docker contains provide isolated environment, allowing developers to build and test application without conflict. As the name stands, it's containerization. So the IP address, the host name, DNS, all the records are coming into a given host, but then you can run Docker images from the Docker repository, and then you just install a particular Docker container, and then you could just do your work. Application building and testing, utilizing Windows subsystem and Docker facilitates seamless building and testing of application integration, Linux and Windows tools. And then we also have integration with continuous integration and continuous development or deployment. So continuous integration and continuous development or deployment, you can see you're working on your Visual Studio Code at home, or maybe on a mail server, or maybe on the cloud, or maybe somewhere else on robotics or whatever, this, or Microsoft Edge computing, or maybe HPC supercomputing environment, maybe on a Linux servers, maybe on a Git repository. This continuous integration and continuous development or deployment is every day's developers' activity. You have to just every day do these works and deploy it and make sure that whatever you test on the testing and the integration is eventually passed on into production. It is seamless, and then it's all transparent to the users, and then everything works without any flaws. So continuous integration, continuous development integration allows for a seamless deployment. As I said, the word seamless process, improving efficiency and reliability in software releases. Different version of an app or application that you build, or different releases of the version, you have to make sure that it's always there's some functionality, some improvement is done, and then also the deployment is seamless, and that's done. Modern development practices, Obviously, utilizing common continuous integration, continuous development, pipelines, and Visual Studio Code is essential for modern development practices, promoting agility and continuous improvement. So basically, the agility and the software transparency to the users are all great. As a result, I'm going to end this video. But before I end this video, I want to recap what we have covered. So as a in conclusion, enhancing productivity, enhance your productivity by mastering Visual Studio Code. You're going to enhance your productivity maybe to the 10, maybe power of 10, maybe to the power of 100, depending on how much you work on it. Customization options. And all this customization you do is for a reason. And then you create these customization tools to automate your system in a way that next time when you open Visual Studio Code IDE, a lot of the work that you normally do is already available for you at the fingertips of at your fingertips. Coding efficiency tips. All those snippet codes, doc type and prettier, and then modules that you install, the extension that you configure, the theme that you configure, all of those ones are for efficiency purpose. And so here I'm just showing you one of the kind of thumbnail, that this is going to be the thumbnail of this video. So as you can see here, I just did a major-object on the file this from the PowerShell command prompt. But later on, when I'm making a video, maybe I can show you the terminal console from PowerShell, within PowerShell, those interface there. And then I show you in each one of those videos, I'm going to just cover something. Here you can see this is the Python program, which is 20 lines, and then I just do a word count with the line numbers, that's 18, and not counting the space here. And then -w is word count, that's number of words. You can also use the word count and dash line numbers like this. So whatever the topic here, you have these words, you can type it as well. But you can also do an alias like -l for line, -w for word, and -c for character. And Linux command equivalent to major-object is wc, word count itself. And then -l is argument is line number, -w. These word options are the same. And then I have shown you PowerShell on Linux also, that is integrated, and watch that video if you want to know it within the Linux, how you run PowerShell. PowerShell is very powerful. As the name says, it's a shell that's PowerShell, powerful. So you're welcome to learn from it. I have done a lot of documentation for it, a lot of stuff. And so, and just for the end of this video, I'm going to show you some of the things that why I provide you all those resources and how you can take advantage of those ones for good reasons. Here, mastering Visual Studio Code, like right here, I show you the PowerShell commands. Earlier, I was doing the cat and the major command. Now I'm doing hostname and pwd. This hostname is one command. This ampersand, meaning that just run, if this command is successful, run this command. These two commands are both going to run, because this command is going to show algorithm, the hostname. The second command is stand for print working directory. That's an alias for get dash location of the commandlet PowerShell, and then it gives you the location of where you are. If you type in get dash location, it's the same, but I just did the shortcut pwd because that's a print working directory in Linux. It's a command and Linux, and then on the Windows PowerShell is a alias. So you can see that this is also giving you with all these sidebars the same, and then everything. Formatting is really nice, and the line numbers are showing you different colors. For example, pipe open or process open command, and then you can say stream. I read it through a stream and then I print it. But in order to just use the OS module, I have to import it through OS module. And then here's a list that I created. I'm going to show you that program actually inside the Visual Studio Code, and we run it and show you the output as well in there. So this is a file. Under the file, you can just say open a directory, and then now I have opened the Python directory. All the source codes are here, and you look at them. It's as simple as that, and then you could just write your code and modify them as well. And then here's the Python extension pack that I showed you earlier. So when you click on the extension, which is this button, you type in Python, you get a Python. Once you install the extension, now you can run your code using clicking this button, or go on this button, say run and debug, and there to debug it. So a lot of the tools are there. I'm going to show you some other stuff here too. Next, let me just go to the next. So here I just log into remote SSH. You can see that I run this command I showed you earlier. So this one I'm not going to talk about again, because I could show you again from the within PowerShell to save you time. Right here, there's another last one, I believe it is, that is same thing. I just showed you different theme. You can see the previous themes are different colors, and then each one of them are kind of a different setting. But the last one, it is like a little bit lighter than dark and black color. So that is just different themes. And you go under setting to look for different themes. Okay. So now we have finished this one. Let's go to Visual Studio Code itself. And we say, okay, if I just go to Visual Studio Code, and this is the one that I have already opened. Notice that I have already opened the whole interface. And then here's my terminal. So if I just go under the theme, first I want to show you under the theme here, you see, you have themes here, and then you say color theme. And if you want to just change it, look, this one is GitHub dark color bind beta. This one is the current one, right? So if I want to do this one, then this is a different theme. Every time you click on this one, and you get a different set of themes. So if I say, give me this one, this is a different theme. The colors and all of that thing is associated with it. It is there. So if you want a like lighter version of a studio, notice here, the white color is sometimes the text information on white is not as looking good as the other colors. So if like GitHub Light, this is giving you, but it's not as good quality as the other one were. So that's why I choose this darker theme, because the darker theme, it provides you a little bit better, good for your eyes. So the one that I had was this one, beta, so I'm going to stay with this. And then I'm going to show you also under the file. So here we're open with Visual Studio Code. So if I just close this one, Visual Studio Code, and I go to the command prompt, let me see, if I just go in here on the command prompt, open PowerShell here. This is PowerShell on by default. So since I open PowerShell, it is 7.4. This and git dash host will give me the same thing, saying that I'm running PowerShell 7.4. But I want to go to my directory where I say c:/users Wahid. I could do that one, or I could just type in cd, automatically takes me to the user profile Wahid. So that is our cd tilde would take me that one also. So I'm going to go to programs and then Python. Now I have gone to that directory. I could say and do a dir, and then I get a list of all the directory. So directory open URLs, the first tab, and then that one is the file that I want to just see that one. Now remember that I said measure by itself, it's going to just say it's one line in there, but that's because I'm doing a directory. But if I change the directory to a cat command for concatenation, cat is done for get type or type command. So here you can see it's 13 lines there. And then, so if I just say, show me all of them without the measure, you can see that open favorite URLs. So that's a different one. If I just say open URLs, that one is more lines. If I want to see the number of lines, I can say measure, it says 20 lines. But if I say measure -L, then it's going to escape the line numbers. You see this line numbers are here. So this is inside this. I want to show you actually the whole thing inside code. So that was OS, and then OS using PowerShell. If I just do the same thing with code, in order to open code, I could just type in code and then automatically runs code. But if I want to say open URLs, then I can give the name of the file, automatically opens that URL for me. And notice that this file is already open for me, and then I'm inside user programs, Wahid, Python, and open URL. That is actually open favorite one. So I'm going to close this one, and I change this one to say open URLs.py. And then that would just open the URL, which is 20 lines. So that is the code. I did it. And then you can also click here and say, open a folder. So when you click open a folder, you could say, open this Python folder, you could select it. Now I am inside the Python folder here. So every time you click on this one, this becomes like a toggle switch. And you can see that the toggle switch is there, and you can open it. And the next time you click it, it just goes away, and then an IDE is going to do it. This is basically your terminal on the bottom here. Since it's 20 lines, I want to move this thing down. Now you can see it is controllable by you. And then here I could type in a PowerShell commands like clear command would clear my screen, dir command will create the directory, and say type open urls.py, it will just write it. And if I just say and do a measure on it, then it will just say that's 20 lines. But if I say measure -L, give me line numbers, and then if we say give me also word number of words, also give me number of characters. So you could, as you type in, you could just see those commands are just working the way you want it. So if I just say clear screen here, and then say, this is great, can I run anything here? Yes, everything that you can do on Windows, you can do on PowerShell. So for example, here, if I want to see, click on this one, and then this is, I could initialize a repository for the Git CVS. If I want to do it through this, I could do it, or I could just come in here, say Git status. So if I just say Git status, for example, it is not initialized yet, right? So let's just do through this command line here. So clear screen, say get status, and it says it is not initialized because this .git, the folder is not created. So if I just say get init, it will initialize it. Now automatically it is done, and this is the graphic part, graph part of it, and then all the changes, everything through that and is there. But notice that when I do this clear screen, and then I say directory.git, this .git has all the extension here, you see. And then you can also type in git child item .git. That is the same thing as directory, because when you say git-alias directory, you can see it is pointing to git child item. Similarly to git child item, that's PowerShell stuff. But inside Visual Studio Code, you can run any PowerShell command, including, for example, when we did the clear screen and directory.git, that one is there, the content is there. If you want to open it with this, there's a process called the start-process.git on PowerShell. you can use the start dash process or start as alias. And then git on Windows, on Linux, you could do another command, and then on Mac, you could do another command. So each one of them, for example, on Mac, you can use the open process. And then on the Linux also, I showed you there's something called GDP open or something. So you can open it through that one also. Now the Git, I open it, so I have to go alternate tab and then look at the directory that I opened on this. So this is PowerPoint, this is not the one. I want to see the one that I opened, maybe the last one right here. You can see here is Python and then .git. So under the dir, you can see the head node and then the directory or the head file, descriptions of it, and you can open it and text to see what it is there. Most likely it says, and this one is no file in it, or I mean no not important name or something. And so open with, and then you could say open with, for example, Notepad on this one just once. And you can see edit the description to name the repository. Currently it is unnamed repository. So if you just create something, you could give it a name, it is okay. Refs or all the references is the head and tags whenever you are using it, then objects. Inside the object you have these. You never work on these one directly. These are under the hood, all of the configuration of Git, and the Git binary is using these ones. Whenever you do a status and other stuff, you could work on it. So for example, inside your code, since I did the Git directory.git is having that one. So Git status is going to run the same way from outside of the IDE, as well as right now I have not committed anything here. All of these ones are ready to be checked in on the staging area. So you could come in here and say, clear screen, say Git status, and you could see the same thing on all of them. And notice the color is a little bit different. So this is like the name of the code. So if I just want to, for example, do one testing, they say copy, open URLs. Normally you don't want to do that one. I'm going to do this one so I don't do too much on the Git at this time. I don't need to check in any of them, but I'm going to copy this test1.python now, test1.python, and open URLs or both the same files, right? So test directory test1.py and open URL.py. So why is it not showing both of them at the same time? Dir test1.py open URL. Dir open URLs.py. Yeah, it is there. So the dir command is actually not taking those two as argument, but I could say, okay, at this time, let's go get to dir sort last write access. So since I created the file with that information, I'm going to just say type more, or maybe tail of that one, the last two. So you see test1 and open URL, or the last two, and the size of the files or both of them 682. So there's no difference between them. But now if I say get status for test1.py, you can see that it's not checked in. So if I say get add test1.py, now I'm adding it to the repository. Now I do a get status of test.py, you can see new file to be added. I could also say get rm cached file to unstack it, or not put it on the staging area. So right here, and this is already in the staging area, I could say get commit -m, and I say add that test1.py. The reason I put the verb add with ed because I want to say in the past. Whenever you commit something, you just don't want to use current or you have to use the past participle or the past version of this one. So not past participle and past tense added or deleted, something like that, past tense. So test.py, I just added it, and notice here, it is there now there, get status test1.py. Now it is showing that it's on branch master, working and tree is clean. So if I just say, that's great, so can I just do a git log and then see what are the changes, git log, and then you can see that this is the hash code for that last commit that we did and added this one. So you could do a lot of stuff like that and then add another code, another one, and so on. Or you could say git add dot, that would just do the entire directory, or store.py, that would add all the .py files, or store.js for JavaScript, or store.html, actually whichever one. But you never do a store.exec because executable file does not make sense to be committed onto the Git repository. There's a .git ignore that you could add the files that you don't want to do it on a particular, like modules when you install like on React or Node.js or another one. There's more Node.js binaries that npm gets installed for the library. You don't want to just include those ones as and you have to do it on the git ignore. I think enough for the git. So if you close this thing and you just say, well, I forgot how I could get into the terminal, you can come under the file. Notice under the file, there's a lot of options. One of them is terminal. Terminal and new terminal. You could just click on terminal here. You get a terminal back here. And then this one on terminal, you can also right click here, click here, and notice that debugging options are there also. And this one, you can resize them and move them up and down to just have the debug. If you don't need the debug console, you just check that one, and now this is there. And this one is also up and down. You can go whichever one you want. There, you could do it. So inside here, you could also use operating system commands, like I showed you the other one. Inside file, let me just show you, like here, you could do all these kind of things for file and other ones. And then preferences, if you want to change your preferences. The theme, you can also change the theme here. But notice, remember, theme was right here also. And then the keyboard shortcuts are also here under the setting. So if you click on the keyboard shortcuts on keyboard binding, all of that options are for you here available. And there's a lot of tools that are inside there on the IDE that could help the users really big time, right? So if I just say, well, I'm okay with that one, I'm going to close this shortcuts. I'm going to move this one up here. And let's say I just want to do something with Python program. If I just want to run this program, I can also click here. And that's one way to run the code. Another way is to run the code here, run and debug. So you could do that one also. And also you could run the program name here, also say Python and then open urls.py. So let's run it first from the command line here. If you just run it like that, now notice all those program, it just opens on the fly for you. Each one of them, as it opens, the URL, it is going to give you the interface for it. And so if I just move this one down, notice the first one, MyWebUniversity, is this page, which is that one. So you can see it is my YouTube channel. You're welcome to subscribe. There's a lot of thousands of files. Thousands of 2,600 subscriber, actually 1.6K videos. There's a lot of videos on different topics, whether it's operating system, whether it's database programming, networking, software engineering, cybersecurity, you name it. I have to code a lot of stuff, as well as PowerShell and Windows subsystem, Python, R language, C, C++, Java, JavaScript, and Node.js stuff. I'm doing a lot of stuff. So you're welcome to watch these ones and then learn it and make some comments on it and enjoy it. It's for your purpose of learning. At the same time, if I close this one, I just did this MyWebUniversity.com. So this is my website that is HTTPS secure page that goes to Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. And then this is coming with this interface. Each one of these ones are resources available on the internet. These JavaScripts runs, and then at the same time, this web page that just shows a lot of the videos that are there for your purpose. And let me just make this one bigger. So you can see that the screen is there. And then inside this one, if you click on this one, it takes you to my YouTube channel. So that is basically getting into YouTube channel, and then you're welcome to watch videos there and then start learning. But if you come back here, say, okay, now this is screen and that I open YouTube channel, I'm gonna close YouTube channel, and then this one shows that it has already been clicked on, and that's why that URL was open. At the same time, if you click on this one, My Web University in Farsi, then you can see that I have resources for you. If you speak Persian or Farsi, Dari, which is my mother tongue, that I was born in Kabul, Afghanistan. Until high school, I was in Kabul, Afghanistan, in Abibia High School. A lot of people are learning at the university level back then. That was long time ago. But nowadays, people are not allowed to go to school, unfortunately, especially girls, to study. So that's sad. And then hopefully someday they will go back. And then you're welcome to watch all of these videos and then start learning, whether it's in Farsi or whether you write it in English, you could do that one. This is my online book that you're welcome to watch. This one is, the entire book is online for you for free. It's 14 chapters, so you can see its table of contents is chapter 1 through, let me just make it a little bit smaller. So this is chapter 1 through chapter 14, and each one of them I have written a lot of documentation and books and everything. Chapter 2 is basically Linux commands that you could learn a lot of commands. You can practice Linux on the fly at my cloud, and then you don't have to buy Linux or software or anything. There's no subscription, no cookies set, nothing. You just come in on my website, you say, what does the calendar command do? I just give you the calendar, displays the calendar, then I give you examples, and then I give you manual pages for it. If you click on calendar, it tells you the calendar date. And now you say, is this command dynamic? You say, can I run the date command? Yes, you can run that dynamically. Can you run any command like print working directory? Yes. Can you run like, let's say you name plus as the space minus A for this, it's gonna give you the whole Linux information here. And at the same time, if you just say rm minus rm plus dash rf plus that slash, you say, go ahead, remove everything from Wahid's directory. Then I mark it in red and say, no, you're not allowed to do that. So a lot of stuff is for security purpose. I had to write it there because I'm allowing you to use a web browser to run Linux command. That is kind of really cool. So in order to protect my website, I just did this one for chapter 2, for chapter 3. Chapter 3 is like a lot of the documentation. For each one of them, I also make videos. As you practice this command, like df command, you can run the command and get the output. At the same time, you could just say, give me the manual pages. I give you the manual pages in HTML format here. At the same time, if you just say, give me the change mode, for example, this change mode is not a command that I want you to practice on my server, or change owner or change group. So I write it in a text kind of HTML page documentation with a nice table, so you can learn it like a book. Everything is explained in details, and you can practice it there. At the same time, if you're going to, let's say, chapter 4, for each of these rows, I have one video that explains it in details. So you're welcome to watch the video. At the same time, look at this one, Linux and Windows technical documentation. So if you're learning, there's about 44,000 PDF files on this page. Whether it's Red Hat, about 12,000, you can see the numbers are showing there. It's 12,747 PDF for Red Hat. Similarly for Rocky, 11,498. And for Windows 88, and for Windows PowerShell, about 7,538. So if you're learning Windows PowerShell, you click on this page, and then I give you PDF files here. And if you Control F search here, say Control F and then say get dash process, then that get dash process comes in. 2 of them, and so you just click on the one that you're opening, and I give you the PDF version for it there. Similarly, if you're going on chapter 14, and then you say, let's do search for Python. So you search for Python 3.9, and it's there. And if you just say, well, this is good that it's giving me all this documentation, can I go to your site and just look for, let's say, a command that I want to search? And then, yes, you can do it. And like this one is, it says dynamic generation. You can go on the chapter 12, and you click on this one, and this page comes in, and automatically I give you the ZSH or bash PDF file. So if you search for ZSH, then it's going to give you ZSH here output. And then you obviously everything that is ZSH, you can go to the URLs for it also. And then you click on the URL, then you can just get into that one, and then go to the documentation and go to this, and then everything is at your fingertips. So if I just look for the English version for United States of America, then I could click here, and then manual pages, I could get all of them. If I wanted the PDF version of it, I click on this one, and the whole ZSH and PDF format is there. It's 480 pages long. So you could get that one, and then at the same time, if you just go on my website and say, give me Go-build for Go language. So you click on this one, and then say, okay, I generated the Go-build here. So the Go-build is very small, 1 of 5 pages. But notice that there's URLs here. The ZSH, and let me just do this is still the other one. Sorry, I thought I'd click on Go-build. And so you type in Go-build, and you press enter, and now Go-build comes in. So Go-build comes in, and then right here for Golang, you can type in HTTPS, and then you can see golang.org reference section of it. You can click on this. There's 3 of them, so you can, 1 of them actually, 1 URL. So you could click on this one, and now you're on the Go language. So if you want to see the reference section of it, you can just go here and then just say documentation, everything for reference, all the command documentation, everything is under here, reference, right? But if you say, well, this is good, can I just get to actual doc page rather than reference? You could also do the /docs, and then now you're on the doc page. Go language and all the information, docs here. So user manual, you just click on it and then start learning or practicing, installing Go, and tutorials on getting started Go language and everything. So this is cool. And then you could say, Wahid, can I do it for anything that I want to do? Yes. The entire internet is for your fingertips, dude. My friend. So if you're a student, I just did it for you, this one, so you don't have to buy books. You can just come on my website and just search for this dynamic page, and look on the main page here, just go on the chapter 13, this one, I'm sorry, chapter 12, dynamic. And then let's say you're looking for Node.js. I'm going to show you. On Node.js, so you type in Node here, and then press enter, and then submit here. And then click on this node.pdf. The entire things are for you right here. It is 9 pages, but notice all these node.js.org. So you Control F and type in HTTPS, and everywhere there's a HTTPS, my Python program automatically puts the URL for it and saying that this is something that could help the student to search for that information inside the web page. So now you're going to be using code reusability. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. This documentation, everything is on Node.js. You just go there and visit, and hundreds of thousands of documentations are there. Like if you're just doing OS module or something, so let's look at the OS module. There's a lot of these functions. And if you say, well, this is great, Wahid, can I practice that one on Node.js? Yes, you can. So all you have to do is on this one, let me just show you. I'm going to move this thing a little bit higher and then clear the screen. And I could show you, for example, say, run the node -- version, and then run Python -- version, Python -- version. You can see everything that you want to do. Pep -- version. All of these one Git -- version. So a lot of the software that you want to get their version, you just say the -- version. But for Python, for example, Python --V will also give you. If you want to get inside Python, you just type in Python here. You run the directory command here, there. So a lot of the things you could do with the Python, you could do 2 + 2, it's giving you that one. Now print hello world, and then just do that one. Anything you're writing the code, you could say print this, and then you could say F, and then just say here, let's create a name variable first. We could just say a name is equal Wahid, and then say printf, and then right here you could use this as a string there, and then here you could just say the string, you could say name, and then now it's going to replace that one with the name that is there. If I change the name to something else, it's going to just say a little. But this is inside Python. You could do a lot of this. Import OS module, and OS name is there. OS whatever and directory system. You could run the system commands. Let's say run the directory command, for example. Let's say OS system. Let me just clear the screen first. I can see that my eyes are blocked by Zoom. So I'm going to do a clear command. OS.system. Let's see, import OS, and then OS.system. I'm going to do a clear command. Okay, so clear command is not recognized. Maybe clear screen is the one. So the clear command is PowerShell, but at this time, this command was not recognized. But now if I just type in host name, it's going to give me the host name. If I say directory command, it's going to do the directory command. All of these commands are there. So I'm going to exit out of PowerShell. Oh, let me show you the sys module that I was talking about. So I'm going to do a clear command, clear screen. So import sys module, sys.executable, it is this. So inside Python, you would write your code, the first line like this, say that every time you run this code, it's there on executable. But if you're on Linux, which I'm going to exit out of here, and I'm gonna try the same code with Linux. So in order to show you the Linux one, I say search Wahid at MyWebUniversity. And I could do it, or search -L Wahid space .myWebUniversity. So I'm going to log in here. And once my authentication is successful, then it's going to give me a shell, which it did. Right here, it says that I'm logged on this system. Now I say host name here, and then I say uname -a. Remember the commands that I was typing there with the browser, you could get the same thing here. So at this time, I'm on this directory. If I say id-un is this, get end password Wahid is there, and then $sign Wahid. So let's say I go on my Python directory, and then I say, and instead of this, I have to say id-un. That's why it gave you so much. Because I said Wahid inside that thing, it's did not match anything. So it ran basically get end password like that. And then I'm going to just do the, what is it? Yeah, I wanted to show you the Python. So if I go here, programs, and then look at the Python, and then just write a quick things, or I could see some of the Python program like my commands that I did, my os.py, let's say, what is inside there, cat -n my os.py. So if I see that code, you can see I wrote shebang env Python. This shebang is saying that the executable is the Python interpreter, which means that if I just say Python dash version, is going to run that one, or I could say Python here, Python, and just get inside the Python, say import sys, and then say sys.executable. Executable is going to show the user ben Python. So this user env is going to load this Python interpreter from user ben. This sys.version also gave me the version of Python. Says version underscore info is going to give me the version information. Platform also gave you the platform of it. So if I just, or I'm on there, I could also quit out of this one. And then here I could say that cat command that I did here, I could say generate a loud cat -a for animation. You could see the color comes in and line by line, it's going to display for you. And at this time, if I just want to say, well, this is good, I'm mastering Visual Studio Code. Inside Visual Studio Code, I open SSH. Now I'm connecting it, and I'm just getting a very nice interface. What does this do? It is says if OS's name is whatever it is set the POSIX, then clear the screen command. If the OS name is POSIX, meaning that if it's I'm on a Linux environment or Mac. But if it is other than that one, then run these other commands there. If dir of OS and a list of OS, all of that, right? So I'm going to just say run that one. If I want to run that one, say my os.py, and that already runs all that command there. And notice that my os.py, what was my os.py? My os.py. And then this one is basically, this dir command was really big. So it runs a lot of output. Help on it and help on those ones. So if I don't want to do that one, I could say vim my os.py. I could comment these line numbers, and then just modules, and then yeah, the list of modules. I could just only run one command here and say, or if OS name is there, os.systems. Let's just run the host name, and then also os.system, and then say run the calendar command. Cal command. So this is two command, and then all of these other ones I could just put them in comment. So if I put three double quote or three single quote and then close it by three double quote or three single quote, whatever I choose, I have to be consistent on that one. Now I just run this one and say, okay, run the same code again that I run here. Now it says my tutorial and then that one. So the code we just tamper with, you could get also laugh out loud cat minus nothing, and then you just get the output laugh out loud cat L is missing. And you can see that it is giving you that information. So that is the shebang user ben env, meaning that user ben env, if I say which the head of this file at minus 1 minus 2, I'm going to do it so you can see that there's nothing on the second line, it's blank. This shebang is saying that this env is installed on user ben env, and this is a binary file. File user ben env, it is going to say, okay, this executable file will find this Python program, and then if I say which Python, and then it's gonna just open the user ben Python. So whether I type in Python, Python dash dash version or user ben Python dash dash version, it will just give me the same output, or run it inside there. So you saw that thing with the shebang. That's why I wanted to explain that one and shebang user ben env Python, how you run it this. But notice that there are ls of minus l of my os.py. This program, it has to be executable. This permission has to be set. If I say change mode 644 myos.py, notice that ls minus l myos.py, it is this file, sorry, ls minus l myos.py. Now the permissions of this one is not executable, meaning that if I do a stat myos.py, you can see that the permissions are showing that it is read write by the owner and read by group. Nobody has executable permission. At least the user has to have permissions of it. So if I say /myos.py, it says permission denied because that permission is not there. But if I say change mode 744 myos.py and then say now do a stat on it, notice that the owner has executable permission as well as read. So if I just run it, and now I can run it, then no problem. But if I change it to change mode to 644 myos.py, and now myos.py is not executable, meaning that if I run it like this, it's not going to run. But I could do it with Python, myos.py. Python is executable. It says that load this module there. Now it opens it. Similar to, like, for example, here, I could say clear screen, sorry. Okay, clear screen as the clear command. So you say cat minus n myos.py. The code that is here, you could also load it inside Python interpreter. So if I just say Python myos.py, it runs it. But if I just don't do it and I run it with a dot message, it's going to say this. Let's do this one with say bash minus x, meaning run this one. It says no, this is not a I did not provide that path from the current one. It says, wait a minute, this was bash? No, it is actually a Python. So if I say file myos.py and saying that this is a Python script, why you just want to use the this? Because the first head of myos.py, it tells me that it is needs a Python interpreter. So if I change that one to Python, Python right here, it's going to run. And you can also test it like this. You can go inside Python and say import MyOS. Since I'm on that directory, it will just load that one. Now, if I say dir of the system, you can see here one of the, let me just show you here. You can see here MyOS is also loaded. So I could say dir of MyOS. You can see all the variables that are built in on that one and that are getting loaded here, right? So OS is the module that is there. And dir of MyOS, and then OS. Inside the OS, what is there, you could also get that one. OS is not named here. So dir of OS, and let me just see what is dir here. I'm gonna do import OS for a second, os.system, and then I'm gonna do a clear screen because I cannot see what I'm typing. I'm typing from my memory, and then clear not command. So now I'm on Linux, I have to do clear command, and then this is the based on the OS name right here. So if I just say give me a df-h, it give me the output of that one. Give me a calendar of 9070, it's gonna give me that one. If I just say give me the January 1st of the first month of January 1970, it gives you that, right? So the OS commands are very clear. It runs those ones. But notice that if I do a dir here, let me just clear it again. Yeah, clear command. If I say dir here, the loaded modules is MyOS is also loaded, and OS is there. So dir of MyOS, it's inside here is all these other ones, right? And now I could say MyOS.os, and then here I could just type in .system, and then say run the calendar command. So notice that I went inside of my module, my OS, but because inside my module, I had defined the OS module, then I had to do that way. But since I loaded OS, I could have directly go os.system. I didn't need to use my module. But inside of my module, you could get these other directories, like directory my os.os, to see what is inside here. And see, under the OS module itself, as all these other variables are defined similar to the OS module. It's like saying directory of OS. And then that gives you similar things. So I'm going to quit out of this one. Enough for Python. We covered a lot of stuff here, and then at the same time, if I exit out of this one from the terminal, I could come in here and I could just use Node.js stuff and other stuff. So inside of here, let's say I go here to JavaScripts, and then Visual Studio Code support JavaScript stuff right here. You could write like code inside here. You could go to the node directory like I did this. So let me show you on the graphic part. If you want to just install some of the software, I already went through this, and then Visual Studio Code.microsoft/download. It shows you a lot of the things that you could do with Visual Studio Code, the heavy one, which is professional version that is not free. And so you can try it for free, but it's trial. So you just have to pay it later. And the community version is free to download, and you can do that one. But why bother when you can do everything with Visual Studio Code? Code.visualstudio.com, download for Windows, for Debian, for Linux, for Mac, everything is there, right? This is RPM is for all kind of Red Hat, and Debian is for Debian distribution, which is dpkg. I told you that you can install it with dpkg, or apt, you can install it also for Red Hat RPM package manager with the IVH install options. You could do it, or you could do it with DNF or Yum repository. You could do it Mac OS X also with Homebrew and other stuff. You can install it, and then Windows, you just click on the executable, whether 64-bit. Mac OS also, they come in as a package, whether it's a Apple Silicon or the universal one, you just get the zip file or command line options. You install it, and then once you install it, then you come back here. You could just use, for example, a node is not code. Code is actually inside code, but you could also go on nodejs.org. So right here, nodejs.org here, you can go to downloads, and then it's very easy. You just install the version that you want. And then the command line, when Git is also the package manager for Windows, you can also install it through that, or just install it through download the directory, .msi or zip file and other stuff. Very easy. Once you install it, now you have code. You could just type in code and node. Once you install Node.js, you have Node. Node.js has Node plus npm. So Node.js is right here. You could say help. You get a list of .help actually. .help. You get a list of commands there. So .clear is going to let's console.clear. You can clear your console, or just exit out of this. Come back to it and just clear your screen. Say node dash version is there, as well as you get npm dash version. NPM stand for Node Package Manager, and also you get npx dash version. npx is the executable version of Node stuff. With npm and npx, you can create a lot of packages. Whether you create a React app, or you could use a Vite app or anything. I could show you on subsequent videos. Right now it's 11:30, and I just need to finish this video, but I'm going to show you a little bit here. So if you wanted to do something like for Node, you can do it at command line also. So os hostname is giving you the whole hostname. os CPUs give you the all the CPUs. os user info, all the information's there. So how do I know all of that commands? Yeah, you could do console.clear. So I could say console.log, and then say hello world. Whatever you do, that is basically do that. 2 plus 2 is there. 10 plus 10 module to the power of 2 is 100. 10 to the power of 3 is 1000. So that's power. And then you could get the square root math dot pow of 2 to the power of 10. That is giving you that math dot square root of square root of to the power of 10 is 100. So the square root of it is to the power of 10. If I get this one, square root of 100, I get 10. But to the power of 10 was there. So if I say math dot power of this is 1024. But if I say math to the power of 10 to the power of 2, that is going to be 100. And then now I take the math dot square root of that one. Obviously, it's going to be 10, because one is going to return that and the other one. So there's a lot of stuff you can do here. Process dot, and not this UID. Process dot tab, and then you get a list of the process, like parent process ID, get process ID, all of this information. So for the Node.js, if I say parent process ID, that would be the process ID of my main process. And then PID is the process ID of itself. And then process, you can kill it, you can get the standard time, you can get uptime. There's so much with the Node.js you can do this. Process dot architecture, you can get the architecture. See, this is OS dot version, and what is it? Since it's a function, you can just have to do this one, say Windows 11, this OS platform. So all of these informations are there. At the same time, you could do a for statement, a while statement, and platform. A is missing here, and then that would give you that. So console.clear, and then you could go out here, .quit, I'm sorry, .exit, and then clear out. Here on the JavaScript, I have these programs. You can also store these program in HTML file and then just run it. So inside Node.js, for example, if I want to just run this code, I could just say, go to the folder, and then instead of the Python directory, I'm just going to say open folder. Let me just open folder. This is the creating a folder, this new folder, and so right here, you could right click here, and then just go to file, and then says open folder here, and then open folder, and then program files. And now I'm going to go to JavaScript and select JavaScript as the folder I want to open, and say, do you want to save the changes you made on the open URL? No, don't save it. I just don't want to make changes on it. So I have this one. Now this is the HTML file, right? So you can see here for file, and this one is a for statement, and I'm running this just to open a thing. So let's run this even and odd thing. In order to run this one, you can install under the extension something called live stream. So if you go under the extension here and say live server, not live stream, live server. So live server, once you install it, and then you can see here, it is already installed for me. Once you install it, then you're set to go. And then here I'm going to go back to my file, and then the for even the odd was demo, yeah, this one. So if I want to test that one, I'm not sure what is this one, ID is equal 3. Okay, so the dark red, and that's what it was. So right here, you could right click on it and says open with live server. And that's a nice thing. And now opens that page with odd and even there, demo for loop and even this one. So now it shows that number, but notice the coloring, everything is for odd numbers or not as good, because your CSS file and other ones has to be adjusted and take care of it. And you can do that one by creating different files. And so this might have been something that I wrote a long time ago and tested. But you can also test the same program on your browser with Visual Studio Code that I did there. So this is my JSS.css. So some of them that maybe I did later on, like demo 3. Let's look at this demo 3. Open with live server, and notice JavaScript for loop demo. This one is a little bit showing you the part of the code, and also this one. It's a lot of stuff. Like for example, if I go on my website, MyWebUniversity /JavaScript, here I just did a bunch of JavaScript programs. Like for example, division. To do divisions, right? So you get two set of numbers. You could just, as you increase the number and then divide by, let's say 8 divided by 3, you click on result, you get this fraction number, right? 2.6666. If you change this one, now result comes in again and says, okay, 8 divided by 4 is 2. But if you just make the denominator to 0, 8 divided by 0 cannot be divisible, because the denominator cannot be 0. Similarly, any number divided by 0 is not allowed. So you just get rid of things. Once you change this number, increase it to 10 divided by 2, you get a 5, and you get the result. And on this one, you could also get on the inspect, you can see the codes here. The output on the console, every time you click on the console, all the computation that was done is carry on, it's there. As you change these numbers and then you just click on the result, and then you see and the output, it just gets 12 divided by 2. And then if I just make this one, let's say 5, 12 divided by 5, you get a fraction number 2.4, and it's right there, it's 2.4. So I'm going to close this one. This one also gave you a lot of other multiplication, subtraction, power function, like 5 to the power of 2 is 25, and 5 to the power of 3 is 125, and 5 to the power of 4 is 625, 5 to the power of 5 is 3. So it just goes there, and then you could just increase these numbers. And notice that as you go the number, if this number goes there, it's bigger number, obviously. The larger the number, the increment is there. You could practice those ones for elementary students. They can practice it, and then you can have a younger brother or a younger sister. You can teach them math and arithmetic simply by practicing it there online. So that's what the JavaScript is all about, and you could write code in the JavaScript here. You could run them and test them, and inside the node as well as inside live server and there. The other thing that I want to show you maybe on this one, let me show you npm and npx stuff in there. So if I just close this one, you can also create new files here. Just say this and then add a new file, or you know, like by just clicking this plus symbol, you just give the name, and you created the test1.js, and then just create the test one and start say console.log hello. So if you just do that one and then you just run it here, notice it just runs console.log and hello world is there. So at the terminal, if you just want to execute that one, since I'm there, directory of test1.js, that file is just 0 byte because I haven't saved it. In order to run it, you have to save it once. You save it with Vim editorial. I just did a escape and then shift:\W, and it says the file is written. Now, if I do this command, notice this file size is 27 bytes. So type test1.js, it gives you that. Now, if I run this one on the console, it gives you hello world there. And then if I just create a variable here, let's say, and then I go here, say name is equal Wahidullah, and then let me just write my full name, Wahidullah Lutfi. Then I could just say comma here and name. So now I just do this one, shift:\W, and then that is saved. So I'm going to just say, if you do this one, this is not bash. Notice that the syntax is telling you that you need to use a constant or a variable or let. So since this constant doesn't change, I could say const name is equal that. Now I save it, and then now the variable name is there defined. So I go here, and here it says a name is deprecated. Don't use that name. So I could say full name. Maybe I could just say F name, full name, and then that one I could just use F. And then now the colors went away. That means I can run it, and it gives me hello world Wahidullah Lutfi. But then hello world is I could say and Wahidullah Lutfi. But I'm part of the world. So when you say hello world, it tells everybody hello world, right? And then now if I just run it there, and then notice it says hello Wahidullah Lutfi. Okay, so that is basic stuff that you could do, JavaScript as well as there, but I have a lot of codes in there we could show you in other videos. So now if I want to do something like on the terminal, I want to clear my command here, and I want to just run npm stuff. So imagine here I could go to React directory, like React. Let's see React, and do I have any React? No. Do I have TypeScript? Directory type? No, I don't have it. Program files, user, Wahid, program files. So directory React, maybe under the JavaScript I might have created. So let me just go under the JavaScript directory, React, directory, TypeScript. TypeScript is not there. Okay, so I could create something here. Let's see if I just say create it as a React first. So I could say make their React. Sorry, I'm going to delete that one. RM React. I'm going to make their React. And then I'm going to just say cd to React. Clear a screen, and then I will say npm node package manager. I'm going to say install Vite at latest. So this is going to install Vite plus React and JavaScript and TypeScript, everything I could do. So now the package is installed here. I could do a dir. Remember I was telling you about the Git. You cannot do a node underscore modules. This is for all the package on the library for Vite is in there. So if I just say dir and say dir node underscore modules, there you can see all of the binaries and all the libraries and everything is under that, right? So here I have this directory, but then I have a package.json file. So if I say start package.json, that file is open. It's basically has this content right here. You can see here the package.json there. But I could also say open it from here. You could just look at it, or just go close this one, and then just inside my shell, which is control backtick here, you could just type in, and instead of the start menu, let me just do clear screen, say type package and .json. This is saying that dependencies is Vite 6.2 this, right? So you could do that one. Now, if I just say inside here, I have also modules package.json, and then the file is there. I'm going to just say install it first. And so I'm going to say npm install. I did the install already, so I have to create a React app there. Just 1 second, I'm going to do that one. Next, one correction that I did earlier when I said npm install Vite.latest. And instead of install, I should have done create. That is what I meant to do, and unfortunately I did the install, which created these directories, but what I'm going to do is remove them. So in PowerShell you could say rm, there's a git dash alias rm, which is stand for remove item. So you could say rm and then node underscore modules, and then I could say dash recurse. That's gonna remove the directory as well as so that one is actually open right now. I need to close it and go to some other directory here and make sure that it is not in use. And then right here, let's try that one again. I'm gonna say modules. Okay, so it says because it does not exist. So let's see, node underscore modules. Underscore modules, and then now it got deleted. Then I'm gonna say rm package star and dash recurse. There's no directory, so I don't need to do dash recurse. Those are all gone. Now there's nothing here. I could say npm create Vite at latest. So now it's going to create a Vite at latest, but it's asking me for project name. I could choose the default one. Some of these options are a lot of them, so I just give it Vite dash project as project name. And then I want to just use React there. So notice that you have a list of other apps that you can use. And then whether you want to use JavaScript or TypeScript, I would rather use TypeScript. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, so I want to use TypeScript. And now it tells me that if I just go to the CD to the Vite project, run the npm install, then install the modules and run the dev. But before I do that one, I'm going to show you the command of cd Vite. You can see the directory got created. Inside here, I have all the files that was the JSON file, the index.html, package.json. The important file is this more on package.json. That file is basically all the package and the dependencies, the version of the libraries that were installed with the particular version. So all of that one is showing you the React DOM, and all of that, right? With the version. So if I just go here, clear my screen, clear screen, clear screen, and then do a dir here. Now notice that I'm inside here. I could say npm install. And for sure, I could type in I, and it will be the same thing as install. So you don't have to type it too much. Inside the Visual Studio Code Node Package Manager, it takes those arguments. So right now it's installing all the packages and everything. And then don't worry about npm fund stuff. You don't need to fund anything. And then right here, you can see that node underscore modules are there. So if I just say dir of the node underscore modules, you can see all these packages and everything is installed. But that's part of the structure of Node. And then for the Vite projects, you don't need to tamper with that one. And at this time, I installed it, and then all I have to do is npm run dev. Because inside the package developer, let me show you on the package of JSON. Notice here it says that the way you run it is dev for the Vite or build or init. So anything within that script directory, directive, you could say npm run dev or npm run dev. And then if you type in npm and np, obviously it doesn't work. Now it is opening localhost at 7173, and then it is our React project. So you can see here, you can also type in H for help. You can see all the list of them for update of the server or show a version and all of that one or there. And then you can run the commands and say that, okay, this is the URL. So you can press Control and press this one. It will take the URL at that port 5173, and you can see your React app is just opening with Vite plus React. As simple as that. Now you can just obviously go open that directory structure for the React, and then just work on it, and then modify further if you want to just write an app or something, or create a menu or something on your website, and all those default options, you can take it out. So for example, if you could say, go to a file, open folder, and instead of the directory on the JavaScript, I could say open the folder where it says React, right here, that one in Vite projects. Now I just open this one as a folder, and notice here on the folder there's everything there. So the main file that are here are important. I showed you inside the file called package.json. This was the file, and then we run npm run dev to just run this interface. And then at the same time, you have this index.html, which is your main program that it opens. Inside the main, it says type is module, source is equal source main.tsx. This tsx is TypeScript with XML extended for TypeScript. So it is not JavaScript, it is not DOM, it is TypeScript with XML. So when you do this one, basically index.html under the source, it tells you that open main.tsx. So you have here main under the apps.css, all the CSS file, index.css, all the CSS related file. This main.tsx is the one that is going to be important. So your index.html loads this one, main.tsx, then it comes out, it says import script mode, strict mode for React. It's the strict mode, and then after that one, create root. It creates a root for a React DOM as client, and the index.css gets imported. Then apps, import the apps from apps.tsx. And apps.tsx is right here. So, and then inside here, it says create root. It creates the root by get element by ID. These are all JavaScript. But when you do the TypeScript, it is just basically rendering all of this into Java code with XML. And then this one is going to open the app, and app.tsx is this one, and app.tsx is the entire thing. So when you see on the web page, it says href is Vite plus React, that this is the 2 page here that are getting loaded. Obviously, there's a lot more that we could show you at a later day, but this is basic of that one. Also, when I installed TypeScript for the command line, for example, let me just go to close this one and then just control command, and then now I'm inside here. I could also do TypeScript here. So like, for example, any code that you write in JavaScript could also be running in TypeScript, but there's a compiler called TypeScript compiler. So that it requires a name of the script that is there. So I don't know where I have this my for loop TypeScript. Let me see if I have it inside this directory star TypeScript slashes. Actually, I'm going to just quickly search on CMD. I believe I wrote it on the programs directory store.TypeScript slashes. Yeah, there's a lot of files here for demo maybe. For store.TypeScript. Wow, there's a lot. So project React, and there's other projects. The one that I'm looking for. TypeScript command for loop, my for loop.TypeScript. Just I'm going to search for that file, and so inside here my for loop.TypeScript. If I say directly my for loop.TypeScript, yeah, it's not found in there. Maybe it's under demo programs. Yeah, so I put it on a different directory program my TypeScripts. So if I go to demo programs TypeScripts, a lot of the TypeScript code that I have written is there. So for example, my functions.js is one of them. The one that I want to run is like hello.typescript, right? Type hello.typescript. You can do that on just simple TypeScript, but you are creating hello.js from it. So if I say delete hello.js, if that file is no longer there, now I'm going to say TypeScript hello.typescript. And now I create the hello.typescript out of this one by compiling the TypeScript command. So now say the type hello.typescript JavaScript, and it's there. So I could say node hello.js. It will just run it. Hello also run. Similarly, if I just go on the command prompt here and go to my directory where TypeScripts are here, cd to demo, cd to programs, cd to TypeScript, directory start.typescript here. Sorry, clear screen, directory start.typescript. Here you could say my functions. So cat minus n, cat my functions dot TypeScript. You can see that it runs a lot of the functions, require OS and everything, functions and message. This one, so all of this one is a TypeScript that generate JavaScript. So instead of this one, I'm going to delete this one with the JavaScript of it. I'm going to say rm there. So now I don't have it. If I just say TypeScript my function dot TypeScript, and now it compiles it. And then at this time, it created a directory of my functions dot star. You can see that it is both of them created. But the .js just got created today, which is as the timestamp of that one is March 31st, 1203. So if I just say, and now random my functions, I could say node in my functions .js, and it's going to run, and it's going to just basically, hello, welcome to my TypeScript, hello, Aidullah, square root of this one is this, and all of that function names, the way I did my functions, it just does all those commands, and they're one by one, and it executes it and produce the output. If I say cat my functions.js, you can see it created that out of the file out of that. Sorry, laugh out loud cat. So you can see that it is basically creating it in a different color every time you run it very nicely. I like the last one. It's all green. And so that one is the code for it. You can also use the PowerShell command, say out-rainbow, rainbow, and then rainbow, and then it will just produce it. If you do -a animation one line at a time, it will produce you. So inside the Visual Studio Code, everything is integrated. You can practice it, you can do it, and you can write code in there. So in this video, not that I show you a lot of stuff within Visual Studio Code. I showed you React and Vite and TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, and then a lot of automations and everything, and a lot of the GUI and a lot of the command lines. So I hope you enjoyed it, PowerShell, everything, and make sure that you subscribe to return the favor, and then just share it with your loved ones and other ones that you care about them. By sharing, you care. God bless you all. Take care. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.